How many of you guys need a little healing in your life today? If you do, come on in, come on in. We're so happy you're here. If you need a little extra wisdom, a little extra clarity on what the heck is going on in your world, then you are absolutely in the right place. I'm Emily Harrison. I've got my good friend here, Robyn McClendon, with me, and we are ready to rock a little healing coming forward for you guys. Right when we were backstage, we were virtually backstage, Robyn and I were talking about this week and just how much shifting of timelines was happening, how much energy was coming through that was bringing things up, has the potential to really affect us until we rise above that certain vibration where we can hold those higher frequencies. So if you've experienced some of that this week, so happy you're here. Hopefully we'll be able to bring in a little more guidance and clarity for everyone who is here. Say hi once you get here, and please share this out with your friends because we are here to bring some light into the planet today. We've got Jamie in the house, and Beth in the house, and Amy is in the house. Welcome, everybody. I'm so glad you guys are here. Marla is here, one of my new students in learning to read the records.
Really? Hi, Marla.
Rena is here. Rena's looking for a little wisdom, she said.
Yeah.
Right on. Haley Robinson is in the house. Haley, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to you. The poem that you posted yesterday about the bun in the oven for you just really moved me in a way that I've been thinking about it since I read it yesterday. It was so beautiful. We've got Jamie in the house and Nancy. Welcome, everybody. We're so happy that you guys are here today. Oh, yeah, Jim. Jim is a new member of the Akashic Academy, so we're so glad you're here. We've got our resident expert always with us, supporting the Academy here. Dallas is in the house. JT is in the house. I love it. Thank you guys all for being here. So here's our plan for this day. Hi, Julie. I'm glad you're here. Robyn and I are going to do a little tag teaming. And before we get into this, I'm going to just explain a couple of things about how this process is going to work. And then Robyn's going to share with us how this deck came about, because what you guys are participating, and ladies are participating in today, is really a special experience. If you've seen Robyn's show, Conversations with Gaia, you are familiar with this amazing goddess, priestess, high priestess who is here with us today. Robyn is not only an internationally known artist and speaker, but she has channeled the deck that we're using today. So this is coming straight from her heart, her third eye. It's brought in from the higher realms into this planet by the woman right here who is going to be pulling the cards for you today. So this is a very special experience. And what we're going to do is Robyn will pull the card, and then I will add in the information that's coming in from the space of the Akashic Records. If you are new and you are not familiar with the Akashic Records, this is the realm of consciousness where every detail of your life, your past, your present, all possible futures have been recorded in an energy of unconditional love and zero judgment. It's known as the mind of God. It's known as the Hall of Records. It's known as the Book of Life. And we have the ability to tap in, read that information, and bring it through. It also carries a healing frequency. Okay, so very similar to Reiki. Ida's new. Welcome, Ida. How Reiki energy has its own consciousness, the energy from the records does as well. This is a living, breathing entity of information, and there will be healing energy that comes in. Now, when I say healing energy, what exactly does that mean? Here's the breakdown, and if you're new like Ida, and if you are just starting to dive into this metaphysical knowledge and insight, here's what healing is. It means that Robyn and I are going to be bringing through the frequency of energy that will first bring in wisdom. It will bring in that aha moment. The reason you get sick, if it's emotional sickness or if it's physical sickness, we call that disease or dis-ease. It is an uneven flow of energy. It's a density of energy somewhere that has lodged itself in your body, okay? The reason you've got this density lodged in your body, whether it's emotional density or in your physical body, is because you have taken on a paradigm of belief that isn't serving you. It is a false paradigm of belief, and that can be released once we figure out what it is. And once we learn how to send some light energy into that, we can actually break up that density, that dis-ease, and we have the ability to heal ourselves. Now, Robyn and I aren't actually doing the healing. We are assisting you in recognizing where you've taken on that dis-ease
Right.
And then we can use our bodies, our own frequencies to amplify that energy for you so that you can release it. Okay, it's like the Great Pyramid. These Great Pyramids were energy amplifiers. They held a very high vibrational frequency of energy so people could do all of this cool stuff, right? That is in essence what Robyn and I are here doing. We are bringing about the knowledge first so that you can recognize where you've taken on that paradigm of belief that isn't serving you. And then we're going to hold the space for you. We're going to amplify the energy coming from Mother Earth and from the ether and broadcast that out so that you can more easily grab onto that and use that for your highest good, for your benefit. Now, while these messages are going to come in individually, and I'm going to share with you in just a moment about how we're going to choose the people who are going to get the individual readings, Spirit has already shared with us the individuals that come forward today are representative of the whole, of the group. So if you feel like someone is, that's what I would have asked about, or if you feel like the message coming in resonates with you, you please open your heart and receive the message, regardless of if we're talking specifically to you or not. The message is for you if you feel like it's for you. The healing is for you if you feel like it's for you. And all you have to do to receive it is give your permission, say yes, open up and receive it. So we are super excited to get started. Before we do, I'm going to be quiet for a second. I'm going to let my girl Robyn talk. Robyn, say hello to everybody this morning. And also share with us, please, the story about how these amazing cards came into being.
Hey, all. Yes, thanks, Emily. I'm so excited to be here. Many of you guys I've seen on my shows, so thanks for coming today and joining us. We're really excited about this whole opportunity. But what happened for me as you were talking, Emily, you were taking me back down memory lane because in the early 90s, I became a Reiki master. Now, what was interesting is that it was brought into my space, but I didn't really want to be like a practitioner where I was actually just kind of having where people were coming to me and I was working with them. I learned the non-touch version of Reiki. And but I was obedient to it. I was interested. So I did. And then but I was always working as an artist. I've been a working artist all my life and a designer. I've done product design for UNICEF and Target and businesses like that, companies like that. But what I began to find as an exhibiting artist is that people would sense various emotions. I'm an abstract artist. So, I know that there's certain energy. I'm feeling like this is the cosmic womb or this is a healing motherly energy or whatever. But it was amazing to me that other people were sensing this. And I was thinking, how is this possible? These are just like images or colors and stuff. And what I began to understand is that the Reiki was actually coming through into the work, and the healing that I was to do as an artist was actually going to be visual. It was coming out of the artwork, and it was just sending energy that could be received by the viewer. And so fast forward to the point that I was working on this deck, I really wasn't. I was in my studio working, and I was, then I went into this mad sort of process of creating all the symbols that are on these cards. And it was just one after another, after another. I must have worked for about 4 or 5 hours, and I didn't stop until I felt like I was done, and I didn't even know what I was done for. And then when I was finished this whole process and all these prints, it's a monoprint process that I used to do this. They were all laying on the floor everywhere in the studio drying. And I heard the voice of the mother. I call the mother. I really connect with Gaia, the planet, that sort of really grounded terra firma kind of energy. So it's the mother for me. And I heard her say, okay, great. You just finished the Oracle deck. I said, the Oracle what? Because I really hadn't been so much into Oracle decks, not that I was opposed to them, but just that it was the symbol. Sometimes I'd pull a card and, oh, that's nice. And sometimes it'd be one and I didn't resonate with the symbol. I think you and I talked a bit about that. So I thought an Oracle deck. And anyway, so it said, I spent a little time researching Oracle decks, got a few of them just to sort of play with them myself to see how I was feeling about them. 2 years later, once again, I'm in my studio and I heard the mother say, okay, I'm going to tell you what each of those cards mean now. Sit down and start writing. And literally, all the cards were channeled to me, the meanings in this one setting, about 3 hours. I'm just like writing. So what happened is when that was all done, she says, okay, they're done. Go ahead and put them together. And the point of it is that when you see an image, like when you see one of the cards, there is These are called the Circle of the Rose cards, the Sacred Circle of the Roses, of the circles. I'm sorry, of the rose. And the whole point is that these are portals, they're mirrors, they're reflectors, they're openings, they're black holes, they're white holes. There's so many things, but they have to do with the coming and going of information and energy. And so what she was saying is that you're supposed to stop and look at the card for a moment. And that's what I'll do. When we go to read, I will hold the card up so that you can connect with it energetically and see what message is coming to you. Then coupled with that will be what the mother shares. And so it's definitely a collaboration. So no, there's no right or no wrongs, but it just the information supports what you're already getting. And that's how this deck works. And that's how it came to me. So I'm like so excited. And actually the Akashic Network, Emily, I don't know if you know that this is the first place I've really introduced this deck. I was to hold on to it. And then once you and I came together and you offered me an opportunity, this is being offered here through conversations with Gaia for the first time. So yeah. So,
I'm just taking that in for a moment. I'm just feeling the shivers that are going down my arms. Wow. I love that those are portals. I love it that you explain it like that, because it makes sense to my mind, and it allows my mind to have to release figuring out what is this a picture of. That's just sucking me right into that other dimension of space and time so that I can receive that information, which is amazing. I've never heard this story start to finish before. I love it that you sat down and created all of the images for that, and you didn't even know that it was for an oracle deck.
No, I didn't.
That's incredible. So just thank you for
by example. That's how these are as light workers, and many of our viewers I know are on the path. They're either light workers, they're discovering what they want to do, they're opening to new change. And honestly, I can say every time I've been led in a new direction, it's always been like that. First, I've never known exactly where I'm going. I just stay in the moment of just, okay, I'm being told to do something, I do it. And then each step we're taking, we really very rarely know. I don't know, Emily, I know you would weigh in on this, exactly where you're going when you step on that path. You really never seem to know. So I always like to be that voice that says, just go with the flow, because you don't really know where you're going. And sometimes if you wait to want to get it all, you'll miss the opportunity to get into kind of jump into the pool, get into the wave, you know? So yeah, I wanted to say that too.
Yeah, I can definitely, concur with what you're talking about there. I feel like I get a little bit of it, and I'll also get almost like the end piece of it. Like, here's what it looks like way down the road, and it doesn't always match up when I get way down the road, but that is the motivational inspiration, because it's like, I'll see this is the possibility, basically, and just trust, take the next step, take the next step, take the next step. And it just starts to beautifully unfold as we're going along the way. And sometimes I don't get that grand vision of what it's going to be at the end. You know, like right now, for example, with the Akashic Academy, I have a big grand vision of what it's going to look like when we have actual headquarters, physical headquarters, and, you know, fully sustainable property and villages where people can come and go. I don't know if it's actually going to look like that, but it's a really powerful motivating factor to continue on this road and to show up and to serve in the way that we're doing. So we'll see. Hold on for the ride, everybody, because here we go. All right, so let's dive into our session for everybody today. Here's how it's going to work, okay? Get ready. We are going to take a list of names. So if you are somebody who would like a reading, please type yes into the comments. The first 5 yeses that come in are the people that we are going to, I'm going to write your names down and we're going to go in order. And after that, we're going to do a number guessing game for the second set of 5. So we're going to do 10 total people today. Okay. Again, everybody is receiving healing. And if you've typed in a specific, okay, here we start going. Tara says yes. If you have typed in a specific request, we are also going to honor those requests. Nancy says yes. Tina says aloha. Aloha, Tina. Aloha and mahalo. Mary Ellen, Haley, Tina. Okay. 1, 2. I got the 5. Thank you guys so much. You guys are fast. Thank you so much. I always hate cutting it off at some point. This is the hardest part of doing this. Okay, so this is why we are going to sorry. I started scribbling so fast. I'm like, what did I write down there? I just wanted to make sure.
Welcome to my world, through this show. I'm like trying to write the names down.
Okay. So we're going to go through the first 5 whose yeses I have here. And I only wrote down first names. Sorry. Thank you guys for being patient with me while I'm like, and stumbling through this. So here's how we're going to rock and roll. We're going to go through these 5 yeses, and then after that, we're going to play a guessing game, a guess the number 1 through 10. So even if you're not one of these first 5, you still have an opportunity for having a reading after we go through the first 5. Okay, so our very first yes came
also, we're going to say that people who put over larger comment, like a comment in, like something that they're wanting just the energy to focus in on, it may not be a specific reading, but we will also be able to pull energy in around those comments. I think you were saying something like that before.
Yes, I did. I let everybody know, if you have a specific area where you need healing, please put it in the comments. I invited people to put that in the comments for the entire event as well. Yes. So we are going to be holding space and sending that healing energy to all of the comments that came in. So please share those. If you need to be a little cryptic because you don't feel like exposing all of that stuff that's going on in your life and your family, that's fine. It's the intention behind placing it out into this sacred space, this sacred circle that we're creating here today, and allowing the energy to permeate whatever issue it is that you're experiencing. So please, if you have something that's very important, share it, because in this space, you will receive the energy that will start to untangle that for you. Okay? All right. So Tara Vetch. And I got to make sure next time I talk to you, my sweet friend, that I am saying your last name correctly. I'm doing my best to try to pronounce that correctly. So, Tara, you are first up on our list.
So, Dara with a D, D-A-R-A?
Oh, no, Tara. Tara.
Okay, Tara.
D-A-R-A, yes.
Perfect. All righty. Alrighty, so this is number 23. This is a 5. So as you look at that, as you guys look at that, and Tara specifically, we'll talk about the energy of 23. And so this card is the circle. It's the great sun. It's the portal of the past, the present, and the future. It's the point at which we move forward and backward, not in time, but in space. How appropriate to this week. My goodness, you guys, we have been straddling so many portals and so many dimensions this week. If you've seen any repetition that's constantly come up this week, like true repetitive activity, not even deja vu, but like truly you remember experiencing it and then within 24 hours it happened again. That's the example of what this card is talking about. It's and it's the source of life and creation. So this is really an appropriate card to start off with. And Tara, though this speaks directly to what's coming through in your records right now, it is so appropriate for the entire group. And it's really a part of what we're talking about, a message being for everyone. So yes, we're definitely dealing with the past, present, and future here, Tara. And I sense that that you've had a lot of activity this week. A lot has gone on with this energy that's been coming through, and you're getting a lot of clarity right now, definitely. And that's also the idea of the sun, the light of the sun.
Okay, so what's coming through for me, for you, Tara, is like there's an undeniable physical sensation pulsing in my third eye. And that's why I was just kind of closing my eyes and allowing, it's just like pulsing coming in. What you've experienced this week has taken you on a dramatic awakening of that third eye chakra. And that third eye is the center of our intuition. It's where our internal vision really happens. It's not just our vision. You might hear messages, you might feel them, you might know them. All of the psychic senses are kind of housed in this third eye chakra here. And it's really known as the seat of our intuition. And it's really opening up very dramatically for you. So they just want to make sure that you are aware that that's kind of a big part of what's happening with you right now. Not to be nervous, not to fear that, but just recognize that you're undergoing a big awakening in the third eye. They want you to drink a lot of water. You can do things to support the awakening of the third eye. There are a lot of ways to do it. Specifically, what's coming through for you is eating those indigo colored foods. So plums, eggplants, grapes, those kind of like dark indigo colored foods. There's also a connection with one of your children who is experiencing this parallel in conjunction with you. So you might have one of your kids experiencing maybe more intense dream time. So just to be aware that they are specifically, what the records are telling me is that they're releasing past life karma through their dreams right now, and it might be a little bit more intense than usual. So just for you to recognize that they're being prepared as well to have a deeper activation of their own psychic senses and awarenesses, and that the two of you are moving through this process together. So they just want to bring your awareness so that it doesn't scare anybody, that you can really help navigate through this process. And that is, if that is for everybody out there who feels like they are experiencing a deeper opening of their own intuition. Right now, I just want everybody to receive some energy. If you want to, if you feel like this is what you want to do, please go ahead and open and receive the energy into the third eye, so that you can have a nice awakening of those psychic gifts and abilities and intuition. And really, all I want you to do is just close your eyes and say yes right now, and just focus on that area. You can look up gently underneath the eyes if you want. You can just imagine that third eye point. It's located between the two hemispheres of the brain, the pineal gland. Just giving yourself a moment, breathing. Good, and then releasing that energy. Awesome. Okay, the next person we have on our list is Nancy McFarland? It's Nancy, the Nancy who is new here. And guys, please forgive me. I just have to say right now, Nancy Moreland is who I wrote down. When I scroll back through the comments, the names that I wrote down that I popped up seeing the yes are not the order that I see it in down here. So I'm going to go with what it is that I wrote down on the paper. And that's really all I'm going to say is please forgive me if you go back and you're like, but I was second on that list. I don't really know how to do it any other way than just to go with the instinctual, unless Robyn, unless you have some guidance for me in terms of.
Good. Because at the end of the day, this energy is so powerful. I mean, I'm already zoning and I'm just trying to stay present. So I really believe that everyone is getting just what they have come here this morning to receive. So yeah, I think we're doing good. Yeah. I'm sure they will forgive you as well.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys for being patient and open in this space, and recognizing that I'm doing the best I can trying to figure this out. I'm gonna be an example for all of us and just release any kind of judgment I have towards myself. So let's go ahead and get some of that energy too. Okay. Okay. So this is a new show format, that was brought to us. So we're staying present to make it be the best experience without our egos or our ideas about how it should go coming in. Just we're staying present in energy so that we all can just be uplifted, because obviously that's what our hearts are in this whole thing for. Yes. So this is the card that came in. It's number 16 for Nancy. And so we know it's 1, 6, and it's a 7 also. So let's see what the mother is saying about this. She really wants us to look at this for a bit. I see why now. These cards, I don't have any of them memorized myself. I come to them fresh every time still. So this number 16 is the hidden self. And it's secrets hidden from the self to the self. So this is all a card of introspection, of us going deeper, especially during these times, and so much energy is coming in, and there's so much change that's going on on the planet, within our government, our countries, our homes, our cities, our towns. It really calls us to go in and relook at, our belief systems, how we're receiving information, the paradigms that we're connected to. So this is what this card is saying. There's a part of ourself that stays hidden, that we're going deeper now to discover. That's the part oftentimes that we've either kept protected
for various reasons, or the part of us that wasn't ready to come forward until the time was right. So we're moving away from egoic attachment to things of the material world. Certainly that's happening. And that's hard because sometimes the ego is involved with our belief systems. And a lot of times when we think we're detaching from the world, and I'm sensing that, Nancy, this is something that you're looking at right now, that, we hear, oh, we're detaching. And so many times people make it material right away. But so much of our belief systems are attached to material objects as well. So when we go to get rid of something, someone say, oh, why can't you get rid of that old chair? Well, it's not the chair. It's the belief system behind the chair that we still have to clear before that object can go. And so this is what happens when we continue to look into the hidden self. It's that we're integrating both halves of the divine being into creative awareness. The seed of all things needed is what the mother is saying. So we're integrating the divine masculine and the divine feminine. It's time. We're coming into an energetic time where we're back to partnerships there, and within ourselves, we're into partnerships. So it's partnering with the divine feminine and the divine masculine within our being and bringing that to a place of balance. So that's what I'm getting for Nancy right now, that like just move into that space. Go ahead, Emily. I'm going to let you go to.
All right, Nancy, what's coming up for you from the space of your Akashic Records is they want to invite you to bring your awareness to that shadow self really emerging right now. Mm-hmm. And so there's going to be a lot of karmic lessons that feel like are coming to the surface for you right now. Karma, and many times we think of karma and we start to get a little scared by it. I don't look at karma as like an eye for an eye. Okay, I do not look at karma that way. Karma is simply unlearned lessons. It is the universal way that we balance energy right now. As we continue to evolve, karma is not really necessary in the higher dimensions, but where we are right now, because it's very polar, okay, North and South Pole holding the whole thing in place, as above, so below. Our emotions, we experience great joy after we've experienced great sadness. That's the whole idea of polar. When you're living in a polar dimensional nature, which is what the earth plane is at this time, karma is important because karma helps us understand the opposite side of whatever the energy experience is. Okay. Yes. So it's just a way to equalize and balance energy, because becoming neutral is the key point to moving up that evolutionary process of expanding our consciousness. Becoming neutral is the key energetic component to obtain healing. You got to be in that neutral space. So you are undergoing right now a time when there's going to be a lot of things coming up to achieve that neutrality. And it might feel like an absolute hot mess. But here's what Spirit wants you to recognize. They want to shift that paradigm of belief right now, because so many of us, subconsciously, it's built into our DNA right now from our ancestry that we grow through pain. Okay? Have you ever heard the saying, that which does not kill us makes us stronger?
Right.
So we're all thinking, all right, if I can get through this tough time and I'm going to be able to. Yes, that's true, because as a collective, we believe it. However, it's only one possibility for the way that we can grow. We don't have to grow through all of this struggle, this drudgery, this pain, this darkness. Okay? It's how we've done it for a really long time. So it's really programmed into us. But if you are willing to release this paradigm that says we grow through pain, all right, or we get to, and it's a cosmic law of this dimension, harmony through conflict. Okay, it's the fourth cosmic ray. So it is something that we tend to experience, but as we're evolving, we can choose to grow in different ways. We can choose to grow with peace, with love, with compassion, with forgiveness. And it's going to make the process a hell of a lot easier. Okay. Yeah. And it all depends on what it is that you choose to believe and to have running through the background. It's like an app on your phone, right? If you've got a certain app that you didn't shut off, it's still running in the background. We want to release that app, that paradigm of belief that says harmony through conflict or growth through pain. And we want to grow, as Louise Hay said, under grace in a perfect way. Okay.
Yes.
So right now, I just want to bring through that energy for anybody who feels like you are equalizing karma right now in your life, and that it's bringing up a lot of the crap, and you're feeling like, all right, well, that which does not kill me will make me stronger. I want to invite you to release that belief right now. And I want to invite you to use Louise Hay's beautiful words, that beautiful mantra, under grace in a perfect way. So I allow the growth and I allow the lessons that I need to learn to come to the surface in my life under grace in a perfect way. And if you would like to receive that, if you would like help, ask your angels, your guides, your light beings, the ascended masters, whoever works with you, your grandmother who passed, doesn't matter. They're all there to support you, right? You can ask them to help actually reconstruct that how the energy wiring is moving through your brain, through your heart space, through your circuitry, so that you can receive that new belief system under grace in a perfect way. And just, I'm going to hold space right now, amplifying that for you guys. Anybody who wants to receive that, just opening your heart, your mind to receive that right now. Make sure you're breathing. Don't hold your breath. Breath is the movement and the flow of the life force energy. So you want to make sure that you continue that breathing so that those helpful beings who are coming in can get in there and help you. They move and they work on that flow of your breath. Keep that flow of breath going. Good job. Good. I see a lot of yeses coming in. A lot of you guys receiving that. Okay. Good work. All right.
One of the things I just kept on hearing in tandem to what you were saying is that through the neutrality you were talking about, you know, going into that neutral space, as a mother was saying, that's where creative awareness is. That's where we create. That's the cosmic womb. So we stay there and we don't have an opinion one way or the other. And I'm really sensing to stress that's where your creative awareness is. That's where you'll create from, Nancy.
Yep. Beautiful. All these yeses. Everybody receiving this. Nancy says, oh, yes, and thank you. Absolutely. Thank you, too. Yep. Jim says, girl, under grace in a perfect way. Let's rock some of that stuff, right? Okay. The next name on the list is Mary Ellen. So, Mary Ellen, this one is coming for you, sister.
Mary Ellen. Okay. Okay, here we are. This is number 32. We're getting a 5 again. It's interesting. We definitely are in the 5 energy. So as you look at that, I really get a sense that we have a lot of heart energy flowing right here. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of heart energy, but it's grounding energy as well. Wow, how appropriate to what you were just channeling from the records. The records are speaking back and forth. The oracles and the records are speaking back and forth. Right now, that's showing me that we're in a good flow here because this 32 is harmony. It's harmony. And that's what we were just dealing with from hearing from the records. It's the sounds of the universe in creation, and it's soothing us now. It's just what came through, Emily, in the last energy transmission. Beautiful. A lot of times, this is what it happens in Mother. And the energy that's coming in, it constantly reinforces itself. So we know that it's present. It's the way it makes its presence. And you'll see that happen repeatedly where you'll see the energy reinforcing the records or the oracles will reinforce each other so that we see that it's the same energy, it's the same source. And it helps to ground and root in the messages. So creating a place that is comforting and beautiful to the soul. That's what we are right now. And that's what I'm sensing that you're doing right now, Mary Ellen. You're definitely creating a place that is that's reassuring your soul. I feel like you're looking for reassurance right now. You're in that space. And I think that maybe this is why the energy came back twice, because there may be a little doubt about, is this really real? Is this really working? How does this work? How do these records talk back and forth? I sense that it's, and that's okay, because I'm the poster child for even questioning myself sometimes. And I think we have to do that because it's the perfect way to check in with yourself. It's a perfect way to check in to see and sense what's really going on in your world. So we should question. We definitely should. And it's also a time when only the sweet sound will provide what we need to move forward. So it goes back to the soul. My mother's saying sometimes it's our own inner voice. It's our own soul. It's that place that we know who we are is the only thing that will give us what we need to move forward. So I'm also sensing that it's not about looking outside of ourselves. We have a tendency to do that when we're asking questions. Mm-hmm. We look outside of ourselves. But what I'm hearing specifically, Mary Ellen, right now, that everything that you need right now in this moment, and this moment could be today, tomorrow, next week, a month, you'll know it, but it's all back sourcing the soul. It's going back in and hearing what you have to say about yourself and about your life. Write those down. I'm sensing right now that you should be journaling. You're getting a lot of information that's coming in. A lot of the soul information can be very elusive. Like you think you'll remember it, but then 3 weeks from now, when you go back to read what you wrote, you'll think, did I even write that? So I'm sensing right now it's journaling time for you, Mary Ellen. Write. Anything that comes up. Nothing is too unimportant, too little, too small, because the soul has found a space to come forward and talk to you. And so you should really listen. That's what the card is saying.
Okay. Thank you for that, Robyn. Yeah, the information that I'm getting is very similar. They want to bring our awareness, first of all, to Mary Ellen, to the resistance that's happening on the outside world. So when Robyn talks about the outside and the inside, this is what's presenting itself in your physical reality. And they're showing me some conflict and some resistance coming up. So it could be with people in your life, with relationships, it could be with situations. So they just, first of all, want to bring your awareness to those areas where you're experiencing some resistance. And what they're saying is that is a reflection of those little bits of doubt that are inside that are keeping you from saying, okay, I'm going to go in and dive into this. Instead of that, I'm going to stay out here. And so you're experiencing some resistance and some conflict because it's a reflection of that of the inner. So the microcosm is reflected in the macrocosm. So the reason you're experiencing the conflict and the resistance that you're seeing in your life right now is because you're kind of resisting really diving into that inner space. Exactly. All right. And Spirit is urging you, inviting you. They never tell you what to do, but they will invite you. They will strongly encourage you to lay down those resistances. Stop giving the attention to the conflicts, the arguments, the situations that are causing you stress. Simply stop giving them attention.
It's a heart space too. I feel the heart chakra needs to get it. Could really help them.
And exactly what Robyn said, going in and journaling. Journaling or automatic writing is something that opened me up hugely. And I remember it, let me see if I can go, it probably 19, 20 years ago now, okay? I was living in California. I hadn't yet met my husband. And I was living with friends out on the beach, and I was diving into metaphysical experiences and books and things. And I read Conversations with God. And this is by Neil Donald Walsh. And basically what he did was he would ask a question. He would write it down like, who is God? And then he would unedited just allow the information to flow through, and he would just write down whatever it was that came up. That's what automatic writing is. It's when we allow our own consciousness to step out of the way, and it's a form of channeling. And I found it pretty easy to do. When I read that book, I was really inspired to give it a try. So I did, and my mind was just blown. So it's really fun. Write down the craziest questions that you can think of, and then just allow yourself to write answers. Even if they're very simple answers, it's going to help you along the way of removing the doubt. Okay, and that's really what I see is the biggest thing that you're struggling with right now is the doubt. And when you have the doubt in our heart and our mind, when it's part of our inner, when it's part of the microcosm, you're going to see it reflected on the macrocosm, and it's going to create resistance. And in order to melt this resistance that you're experiencing on the outside, go inward. This is all just signs for you to go inward, to release it and go inward. So anybody who would like to have let's see what they're saying coming in. Anybody who would like to have that level of activation so that that the automatic writing just comes through for you, yeah. Go ahead and just receive that right now. I'm just going to be amplifying and sending that through. They're even saying that you can use the automatic writing to ask about the resistance that you're experiencing, if you're experiencing a conflict with a person or a situation. Good job. They're making adjustments just so you guys can bring you in on what's happening right now. They're making adjustments in the hands so that the hands can just very free flow and unedited write the information. And they're also making adjustments in the editor part of your mind that wants to edit the information that's coming in. Lee says, I love automatic writing. Check that handwriting though. Yes, for automatic writing. Yes. Okay. All right. Good job. The next person we have on our list, Jennifer Jennison, is a first-time viewer. Oops, it changed too fast. And Kristen said, Kristen feels it. Awesome. Thank you for that confirmation, Kristen. There's our first-time viewer. Welcome. Everybody who is a first-timer, we just really with open arms welcome you into this sacred circle. And for those of you guys who are with us often, we thank you for being the welcomers and the holding the powerful space. So this is a beautiful group. Just want to acknowledge everybody who's here. Okay, so Haley is our next yes. Haley Robinson. Ren says she needs her editor fired.
Alrighty. I just want to say that, and along with what you were saying, that this deck was actually channeled through automatic writing. I've been an automatic writer for a lot of years. And so when it came through, it was all totally automatic writing. It's a really great way to connect with the creator, with that creative force. Hey, Brenda. How you doing? So appropriate. I'm telling you, these cards today. So this is 33. This is 6. Let me look at that in a moment. So this card here, the mother calls the flower of life. And it's the magic of creation, which is what we're right here in the process of. I'm like, it's amazing how like it just keeps on reinforcing themselves. It's dynamic movement that is beyond understanding. It's a force so strong in truth that it captures all of everything in its movement. Mm. And so, Haley, it's so funny because right when I was pulling the card and focusing in on your energy, I really sensed so much joy, happiness. It's like you're just a ball of love, life. I can just sense this. You're the eternal optimist. And you're coming to this place right now, just looking to understand sort of where you are right now in the process. And sometimes as an eternal optimist, we, because I know I'm one, I'm definitely an eternal optimist, and I can just go and go and go. And then sometimes you hit a wall and you're not sure, you know, why your energy just won't flow through that wall, because it should. And sometimes it's that place in ourselves that we have to open up a little bit more to our own thinking, our own understanding about our journey. And that what I have oftentimes experienced is that sometimes you have to go around that wall because it's not our job to move it in others' lives. It's our job to just keep on sharing our love, our bundle of joy, our energy. And that sometimes the energy that it takes to go and start trying to take that wall down in someone else's life, it's counter to your mission, and your mission is just to keep on spreading that joy and that love. So sometimes, you know, it's like when you hit that wall, it's receiving your love. It's there, but it's not your job to take it down. It's someone else's job. They'll come behind you and deconstruct it. And so it's for you just to sort of be this flower of life. It just keeps on moving into spaces. And sometimes you're just opening the space for the next healer, the next light worker, that next energy worker that has a different modality to come in and continue to do the work on that wall. We'll call it a wall. Sometimes it's a person. It could be an environment. It can be a workplace. It could be a number of things. So we'll call it the wall. The mother's calling it a wall, but it's just that energy is spiraling. And so you're this toroidal field. You just keep on moving. And sometimes you can't even sort of question why it's not that the answer's not for you. You're on a mission, you're on a path, and just keep on. And I just get the magic of creation. You're just the magic of creation. You're creating a space, a safe space that others will be able to open up, become awakened, be loved, and be in harmony. And that's what I'm getting for you. So, yeah.
That was so spot on, is what Spirit is telling me. And in protection of everybody's privacy here, I know a little bit about what's going on with Haley. And since you posted the picture of being pregnant we talk about the bundle of joy and the flower of life coming in. And that is, yes.
Because I don't know Haley. I don't know you. So, okay, perfect.
Yes.
You're good.
And Haley, I feel like you are understanding exactly what the message about the wall is and about the next light worker. The records would like to bring in some information about that next light worker, about the sweet one in your womb who is definitely of a high priestess and angelic nature. And they just want you to, and you probably already know this because you're feeling all of that coming in. But this being is a very, very powerful light worker coming with sometimes some beings come into this planet what we call fully awake, right? And that wasn't me. I can say my experience was I had a waking up process. This being is coming in the planet fully awake, and she will have many guides and beings around her. And she has a very powerful mission, which I'm sure that you're feeling all of that information. The records work like this. The records we don't open the records of those who cannot give their permission. And being that this is a little one in your womb, the records also respect the geographical laws of the land that they're in. And in America, children do not have the right to speak for themselves. Basically, their parents speak for them, or their parents give permission until they're 18. So they're very careful about observing that and not allowing me to necessarily open her records because she's not in physical form to give her permission for that. So we respect that. But the message is coming in for you as her mother to recognize just what a special being you have, and that this will be, let me just see if there's any information coming in for you to give you guidance. Just to recognize that a child coming in fully open is a big deal. And they're just honoring that they're going to give you the support that you need to be able to mother this child in a way that is perfect. And just to remember that she chose you because you are the perfect vessel and the perfect guide for her in this life, and she will be guiding you a lot too. Definitely. Okay, let me just see what energy and what healing they want to come in. We want to make it for everybody who wants to receive this. So let me just ask what they. They're just saying anybody who wants to receive a further awakening, like we talk about this being coming into the planet fully awake, fully aware. The majority of us here have not come onto the planet that way. That's okay, because we're going through an evolutionary process where we have been closed down in what we would consider asleep for quite some time. We are paving the way for those beings to come in fully awake. You can't go for, and many of you guys have probably tried this to do this before, right? If you are just dead ass asleep and you are enjoying your sleep and somebody comes on and turns on the lights, or like the alarm goes off and you're like, come awake. It's not a pleasant process. So do not start to judge yourself for, oh, why didn't I come in all fully awake? Your soul has agreed to come in and be a template of the awakening process to create this space, to pave the way. So Spirit just is asking everybody, honor yourself wherever you are right now and embrace the waking up process. And we're going to bring through a transmission right now that is just going to be, the next gradual step in your own awakening process, whether that's awakening to the alchemist properties of who you are, the magician that you are. If you're waking up your psychic and intuitive senses, if you were waking up your healing and your self-forgiveness, these are all steps along the way to what we call becoming awake and then moving up into that phase of being enlightened. Okay, it's a process. So wherever you are in your process, if you'd like to just receive a little boost like the Jamba Juice boost that you can get, I'm sending through a boost now. And Spirit just says, in order to receive this, it's very important that you acknowledge yourself and be grateful for what you have done in the grand scheme of humanity and this evolutionary process, playing your part in the gradual waking up process. You must acknowledge and be grateful for your own process. All right, we have one more for this part of the drawing, and then we're going to move into the guessing game part of it. So even if you didn't get on the list, please know that you can get on the list for the next half. Tina, I see Tina saying yes, please. Tina, this one is actually for you. Okay, so for Tina Naki, bringing the card up.
Alrighty. We have 24, which is another 6. So I'll let you look at that for a moment. And one of the things I want to say right now, I got, as you were transmitting that last energy, Emily, is that I got that there was a lot of powerful codes on that, and that for people that are on this broadcast, if you just simply listen to this broadcast periodically, just come back to this one, and you can just be doing other things, just have it going in the background. There's a lot of encodement that's going on right now for enlightenment, awakening, and just really continuing. If you're opening into the space right now of the healing, it's just going to keep on sending that transmission. I feel a lot of energy flowing right now and encoded on this broadcast. So I wanted to just share that. Okay, so number 24. So this is one of my favorite. So funny. Because the way the mother titled these, they seem so off-putting sometimes, but then when you really listen to what she's saying, that's why I knew these were channeled, because there's no way I think like this. So this card is called Blunder. Blunder. Okay, but listen to how the mother is dealing with this. She says to misstep is to find solid ground. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense to me. And firm footing. So sometimes we think like there's a lot going on, or we feel like we're sort of blundering, or, we're sort of misstepping and all. But really, what happens when you step off a curb and, you stumble a little bit? What saves yourself is you find that solid ground. You find that firm footing. So right now on this journey that we're on, there's a lot. I know I have a lot of blunder going on. There is a lot that's going on that's causing me to look at my footing and to make more solid, firm decisions about what I'm saying yes to. And that's what I'm hearing the mother is saying right now, is that you're searching for the proper yeses, and sometimes we find that we're spiraling in the midst of a lot of chaos or thing that's going on, or we don't know, maybe people are representing themselves in ways that seem superficial, or we're a little uncertain. And so we're looking for the firm yeses. She says it's the ability to check in with ourselves to learn. And we're learning from ourselves in the moment. It feels as if we made a mistake. So sometimes when you're right in the middle of something, you think, oops, I made a mistake. So check in with yourself and hear what that's really saying. Because what it's saying is it's giving us a clear yes about something. You know, when you get a clear yes, you also get a clear no. So it means you might be turning from something because the yes is so resounding that that's what you should be doing. And sometimes we turn from things that can be a little uncomfortable. I'm sensing that maybe that's where some of the blunder, the sort of uneasy stepping or unsure stepping is coming from, because you're having to say no, Tina, to something that's a little difficult. But the yes that's opposite of that no, you're also saying, yeah, I want that. I know I want that. So it's also, sometimes we take a wrong turn and we feel totally lost. You know, it's that same sort of feeling. So what the mother is saying, and final, she's saying, just embrace the blessing of realization. It's like in that moment, gratitude. You know, yeah, this may be a difficult decision that you have to make, but yes, where you're going is going to be so powerful, and it's so right where you already are. And when I mean coming and going and coming from, I'm also thinking about it from the standpoint, there's no real sense of time. So you're already in the place of a yes, and you're still in the place of a no. So it's like turning and focusing less energy in that area and turning more to the energy in the area of a yes. And then having lots and lots and lots of gratitude. Your step into that yes is tons of gratitude, just that blessing of realization.
Beautiful. This is so fun doing this with you because the messages are so synchronous. So before you started talking, Spirit told me, grab that Palo Santo. So I did. I've been lighting the Palo Santo. The clearing energy has already come in. This is, I'm feeling like to clear any emotional energy that you're holding from the quote blunder, the misstep, just feeling out of alignment, any energy that anybody out there is holding in terms of whatever your representation of that out of alignment is, whether you feel like you made a mistake, whether you feel like your life has taken a wrong turn. Tina says, OMG, and wow, yes, yes. So the Palo Santo is holy wood. This is not a joint. I went up the other day and my Academy member was like, is that a joint? I'm like,
I love that Palo Santo though.
It's Palo Santo. Palo Santo is holy wood. Sharon says she loves Palo Santo.
Yes.
It works similar to, it's like a metaphysical cousin of sage, right? So sage really releases negative energy. Palo Santo or the holy wood gives you a full-on energy reset. Okay, this is comes from a tree in the Amazon area, I believe, and there's no processing of this tree. It's they let this tree grow until it's done with its growth cycle. It falls down, and then they harvest and process this wood. So it's got a lot of very, very sacred energy in it. And what we're doing right now is just doing an energy reset. I see Jeremy's burning some. Dita says, yes, that's me. She'd like the energy reset. So if you feel like you are on a timeline that's not really the timeline that you wanted to be on, then this is resetting you to get back on to the timeline that you want to be. It's releasing any energy that is still residual from the lower vibrating timeline. And, you know, Robyn mentioned in the very beginning of this broadcast that that interesting of a jump of timelines that happened. Robyn and I both had an experience this week that was like a repeat of the timeline. It was like a glitch in the matrix, so we could physically see that there was this timeline shift happening. And I'm going to tell my story quick, and then I want you to tell yours quickly too. And as we're telling the story and the Palo Santo is burning, I just want you guys to realize that you are getting the energy of the releasing of any of those lower timelines right now. So for me, I was driving through the mountains and my car started to jerk and like the electric was going out. And I thought, oh, that's my alternator. My alternator is going to go. And I'm glad that I had that thought, because being on the mountain roads, if your alternator goes, you know that you lose all the electrical sensation of your car. You don't have power brakes. You don't have power steering. Pretty crazy when you're on the mountain roads. So I had that experience. The alternator did go out. I was safe. My husband came to rescue me. We got the car to the mechanic, paid for a new alternator, which interestingly enough, and Robyn helped me recognize this too, it was $420 for the new alternator. The next day, the same thing happens again.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I'm repeating a timeline here. Like I just had the alternator, a brand new one put in and fixed. Like what the heck? And what Robyn shared with me this morning when we were talking, she goes, well, you know, mother's trying to let us know that we got to stay above that 420 resonance because that's where the healing and the energy and the higher vibrations happen. I'm like, wait a minute, you said 420? That's exactly how much my car cost to have it fixed. So for and what I noticed about myself was I wasn't even upset or mad about putting out the money and then it not actually working. And normally I would have been lighting somebody up. Like I would have been, I was just like, all right, well, it is what it is. You know, the mechanic did his job and I'm not going to go back and get angry at him for the timeline thing happening. I'm just going to trust that, you know, it's all okay. And then when Robyn made that 420 connection for me, I was like, oh my, that's very cool. So that was my timeline repetitive thing that happened. Robyn, share what happened with you too, because that's just.
What I forgot to ask you is that what days were they? It was this week. What days were they? Was it? Do you remember? Was it
Tuesday and Wednesday for me?
Exactly, same dates for me, which is what tells me that there was definitely a glitch. I mean, the matrix was definitely shifting, and there was definitely where these two timelines were straddling, and we were straddling them. So what happened to me, guys, is that I'm driving along in my car. So I'm in the passenger seat. My daughter is driving, and we're just driving along, and the window for the car was cracked like that much. Honest to goodness, it was cracked that much. And we're driving along, and all of a sudden I feel something hit my arm, and I look down, and it felt like a sting. And I look down and I don't see anything, and I don't see a stinger or anything, but I feel that feeling like a bee stung you. Fortunately, I'm not allergic to bees, but I was like a little bit like, oh my goodness. So I look down on the floor of the car and I see this little wasp. He's like basically dead, you know, dying. But of course I made sure he was, so he would come back again, and I put him a little piece of tissue. And, but I look at my arm, there's no stinger or anything in it. So I thought, okay, what's the likelihood of a bee flying through a moving car window with this much of event in it? But I was like, okay, whatever. The next day, which was the 7th, so that happened on the 6th. On the 7th, I'm driving along. Now this time I'm in the driver's seat, driving along. No one's in the passenger seat. The window's cracked the same amount, and a bee flies through the window and hits my arm. Same exact arm, nearly in the same spot. But I could feel the fuzziness of it, so I knew it wasn't a wasp, and I didn't get stung. And it hit the floor. And I looked down, and it's like just barely alive. And I thought, okay, what is trying to get my attention here? Because what's the likelihood of back-to-back within this short period of time, these two bees fly through the window and hit my arm, the same arm, nearly in the same place? And, you know, I really just thought about it. And what it came down to me was that it was a physical example of repeating what seems like a repeated timeline, but really showing how we're jumping, but we're straddling them because we're remembering both versions of them. It's not a deja vu. So we're straddling them, and we're being shown how close these dimensions are and how we are transcending the dimensions. And so it's really about staying in a place like we were talking about, and Emily was just repeating again, was staying above that human resonance, just staying high in our resonance from love, peace, joy, bliss, those higher realms. It doesn't mean you got to walk around happy all the time. It just means when stuff happens, don't let yourself just get sucked down into those lower vibrations. Stay neutral and just try to stay in that place of understanding or love. And, you know, and it's crazy because I know a lot of people might swerve off the road or, you know, like this, but I was like at peace with it. I knew the bees weren't trying to attack me, but I was obviously receiving a message. So yeah, it's crazy.
That's awesome. 420 just found a new message, didn't it, everybody? 420. Just kidding. I just had to go there. I just had to go there. That's funny because honestly, 420 in my life for a long time has meant, hey, let's go light up a joint. It's time to light up a joint.
Yeah, there you go.
And it has an absolutely completely separate meaning for me now. And I know that many times, you know, people use those kind of things in sacred ceremony or for everyday purposes in our life. No judgment to whatever it is that you're using.
No, because actually it does put a lot of people in that space where they can actually stay above it all and it's a plant. It's so, you know, it's whatever for people. I don't.
I'm kind of, it's kind of fun, kind of veering off here a little bit. Yeah. For me, it really did that. I did not have the energetic pattern, meaning I didn't know what it felt like to be able to release stress and to be neutral until I experienced using marijuana for that purpose.
Yeah.
As I began to continue to grow in my own development, I realized that I could do that without the assistance. And it's really easy for me. I have an addictive personality. So it was very easy for me to go to that continuously and not rely on my own energetic vibration to be able to do that. So as I grew, I was able to do that and not have to always go to, you know, that default mode. But no judgment wherever you're at along the way. I will encourage you, though, to keep diving in. Learn how to do it on your own. Don't always fall back and rely on, well, I got to go out and take my smoke, because you're going to end up addicted to it, and you're going to start losing your power to it. Just like anything that we overuse, we can begin to lose our power. And also, cannabis in and of itself is such a healing, miraculous plant. Yeah, she says, Sharon says nature's medicine here. So it's just really important to open our eyes about what's really going on when we're using things like this, and to make sure that we're using it to support our growth in the best way that we can.
And one of the things I just want to jump in and say that I keep on hearing the mother saying, you know, coming through this right ear as she normally does, is that the purpose of the message of that plant is to help to equalize, and for those people who, like you just explained, need to recognize that frequency. And once you bring yourself up to where you're recognizing the frequency of just being able to relax, de-stress, you are also here when it's time to move on from it. And so there again, the planet is not judging the use of that any more than we judge the use of needing a lemon, you know, in our tea every morning to cleanse our system. You know, there's no judge of that substance. You just know when and where. Some people never use it because they have a frequency that when they use it, they immediately just start skitzing out because it's they're already high enough. And so their message is in another plant. So, you know, we also realize that the mother created all these plants and all of our herbs and everything that we're doing, and it has a purpose, it has a message, it helps us in our growth and development. And so I'm a firm believer that you receive what you're receiving when you're supposed to. And like you said, Emily, you know the time to move on. And when you hear that message, move on confidently, because, you know, there's no sense that you need anything except for that next movement on. So I just wanted to say what Mother was also saying about her little plant.
Thank you. So, okay, we're going to transition now into the guessing game.
Okay.
Guys, I got to take a bathroom break. Like, I am drinking coffee this morning, and I've had 3 large babies on a little bladder, which makes it hard for me to sit through long sessions anyway. And it's like so grating on me that I can't really concentrate on the messages coming in. So, Robyn,
why don't you do this? Why don't you get a quick yes? Why don't you do one? I can start a reading. You can go do that. And then let's see what happens when you come back. You want to do that?
Okay, let's do. So you want to do like a group reading, or you want to pick somebody, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, pick someone. Let's just pick someone that's been there, and then I'll do a reading, but it'll still be a group reading. So just give me a name to focus on.
All right. So the name I'm going to give you is Ron Cruz, because I saw Ron have a yes in there, and we haven't done any men yet. So this one is for you, Ron. I'm going to put Robyn all the way on and go back.
Okay. Yay. Okay, so we'll do it like this. Let's see how the energy comes through. Of course, I really think this is one for everyone, but Ron, this is going to specifically hone on your energetic signature. And then I'm almost certain when Emily comes back, she's going to tie right into what the records are saying as well. So let's see. All righty. Okay, so here we are. It's number 20. There's a 2. I'll get it closer so you can see it. So with number 20, wow. This one is called Light Star. So I'm just sort of sensing in on your energy right now. Ron, Light Star, it says you possess the ability to project forward very quickly thoughts, ideas, and questions that can be used in this moment to harness the unknown and to provide the knowable. Wow. Yeah. I'm sensing right now that you do possess this ability, Ron, to really just project very quickly into your future. And a lot of your development has come from that ability to project very quickly into that next place and that next phase of development. I'm getting that you really are right on path and in alignment with where your life is and your life work is and the way your energy is going. I'm also sensing that the unknown kind of gets you a little bit sometime, because you have such an ability to advance into your future and advance into, you can sit down and sort of think about an event or a future action, and you can immediately understand what that's all about and make a decision from where you are in the present. So, but when you don't get that, I'm getting that sometimes more and more you're sort of not getting it as quickly as you used to, and that's a little annoying. But what I'm also hearing from the mother, that it's just, you're at a place right now where you're like really at a perfect place, and the energy doesn't want you to blow by this place by jumping into the next thing. They want you to stay here a little longer, right where you are energetically, whatever you're experiencing, what's happening right now, the decisions that you're in. I'm sensing that you really should stay there. You're being forced to stay there. The energy is forcing you to stay there so that you can take this on a little bit more, like there's a little bit more to gather and also to give. I get a lot that you share a lot. You're a sharer. So you're maybe in some ways could be sort of done with the place that you are right now, but your energy wants you to now be in a place of giving and not receiving. And so it's a sharing space that you're in right now. And so this card was Light Star, Emily. And that's what I'm sensing right now for Ron. And I'm getting it as a number in the group that's dealing with the level of frustration as well about the unknown. And it's a little frustrating.
I love that. Thank you. I'm going to share just a little bit of information that is coming in to help us understand frustration more. And It's right in line with what you're talking about when you're very good at creating new timelines or like doing that astral travel kind of thing. Yeah. So here's the deal with frustration, all of you good alchemists and creators out there, that we experience as light workers, we experience frustration when we have already created the new timeline, this higher vibrating timeline. And in this dense plane of Earth, things don't automatically happen yet. There's a time delay. And so when we are waiting for that new timeline to catch up, we can experience frustration when we know with our energy we've already created the new thing, but our physical experience isn't necessarily showing that yet. We experience frustration. So Spirit just wants you to recognize that's kind of what's going on. Don't feel like you haven't created it or you haven't moved on. There is that time gap of when we have created something, but it needs time to develop and to emerge. And what Spirit is saying, one of the most profound things we can do during that time is ground. Help ground the energy in. Bring it in from this star essence down through your being and grounding it into the Mother Earth. Okay? Earthing is my favorite way to do that. Of course, we can do meditations. There's lots of different ways to ground. But earthing is an actual practice where you take your shoes and socks off and you go and you stand on the earth plane itself. And what happens is on the bottom of your feet per square inch, there are more energy receptors than anywhere else on your body. And we are this bioelectric being. And we are walking upon our gigantic battery, Mother Earth. Mother Earth is being struck by lightning over 1,000 times a second, I think, over across the planet, which is continually recharging that energy. So we need to, and we were designed to, ancient cultures who stood barefoot on the planet were able to receive that energy so much more than when we start wearing shoes and socks, and then we start wearing high heels, and then we start sleeping in beds that are like way tall up off of the ground. We are diminishing our connection with Mother Earth. So actually getting that connection back, shoes and socks off, standing on the ground, connecting with Mother Earth is one of the best ways that we can reestablish that that connection, and we can really ground in that new timeline. Not only do we receive energy from Mother Earth, but we're grounding it and sending it in, sending our intentions in to Mother Earth as well. So that is one tip that you guys can take away with you. Anybody who is experiencing frustration, go to grounding, go to earthing. it's really, really a powerful practice. Okay, so Jennifer says that's why they invented shoes, to stop us from receiving the energy.
Right, yeah, Jennifer. Yes.
Conspiracy theories and the talk of the Illuminati, and Illuminati actually is a word that means enlightened one, but it's kind of taken on the concept of being the dark forces right now. Exactly. So that's a whole nother fun topic to get into. But yes, there are, there is a galactic Star Wars good versus evil, or just like different frequencies of energy depending on how you want to process it. I tend to look at even the lower vibrating frequencies, those reptilians and those dirty dark forces that are out there, are just at a different level of their own process of illumination. They're going to get there eventually. We're all going to move through the processes eventually. Okay. Definitely. So here's what we're going to do next. Number 1 through 10. I've got my number written down here. The first number that pops up that is the correct number will be the next person to receive the next reading. And we're going to do 4 of these. We're going to do 10 total for the day. We're 6 down. We've got 4 left. All right. So I'm watching your comments. Brenda says she loves earthing. Lots of
love earthing myself. My favorite thing.
The floors and the energy is so comforting. Nice. All right, Francine says 8. Come on, keep your numbers rolling in, everybody.
One of the things that happened this week, after I had that little glitch thing,
and number 9. Keep that number 9. Number 9.
Of course, I am.
Okay. Annie, baby. Okay.
All right. We've got 23 again. That happens a lot in the readings, especially when Mother wants to reinforce a message. So when our very first reading with Tara was 23. And so now, Anne, we're at the energy of the 23. And this is the circle. So, as we know, this is the great sun energy. It's the portal of the past, present, and the future. It's the point at which we move forward and backwards, and not in time, but space. And what I'm getting is that, that wow, you're really definitely dealing with the idea of time and space. There's a lot that's been going on for you. There's a whole lot that's been happening with the ascension, with the whole thing that we were talking about earlier, straddling the dimensions. You're waking up, you're seeing a lot of, you're already awakened, but you're seeing a lot this week that's reinforcing your awakened, your awakened state. And it's the idea of making sense of the various, what seems to be like timelines. It's very hard for us to wrap our mind around, because, and I'm having the same challenge as well. This idea of wrapping my mind around the various timelines I'm definitely clearly in and out of many times in the day. You can see these shifts happening, but I really sense that that it's like pulling in vitamin D, pulling in the sun. I'm hearing just the sun energy. Just not only should we ground with the Mother Earth, which is absolutely the case, but get out in that sun, because the energy and the light, the color, what I'm sensing is the wave that's coming in on that sun right now is helping us to make sense of what feels like all these different dimensions. And so I'm really getting that for you, Anne. And so that will begin to clear up our idea of time versus space, and time and space, which is like that crazy thing that when you've been awakened for a while, as you have, like that's our next step of really making sense of that. And once we get that really grounded in, because we're learning new time and space paradigms. We're done with the old ones. We know the whole idea of the 12-month, 24-hour, all that stuff is gone. But it's these new time parallels that we're channeling in, and we're trying to make sense of them. So I get that. You appreciate the sun. Absolutely. That right now is like where your information, like your Akashic information, your understanding about where you are is definitely coming in on the sun energy. So I'll turn it over to you, Emily.
Awesome. Yeah, I was definitely getting go outside in nature was the first, and like be in that sun energy was the first thing I was getting. And then I wasn't getting anything. I'll be honest. It was just like a void. And I'm like, Okay, because we learn in the program, learning how to read the Akashic Records, when you experience what feels like nothing coming in, we don't just automatically go, oh, it's a block, I'm blocked, I'm blocked, why is the energy blocked? We say, tell me more about that. What can I understand about the fact that there's not like a clear message coming in? And then energy starts flowing again. They say, and you are searching everywhere to try to make sense and try to make meaning of all of the stuff going. You're like, but what does this mean? Oh, this happened to me today. What does it mean? Oh, this happened to me. What does it mean? They just want you to be. Just receive the energy right now. Trust that exactly what Robyn explained, the ability to assimilate and understand and to make more sense of these things is happening to you. But you don't have to consciously be able to process it all in this moment. You just need to be and to take it in and allow the energy to do its thing on you. Okay? So that's why there was no, like, just go out, be in the sun, and just be.
Yes.
And just allow, it's like an integration time. All of this stuff is happening. You don't have to make sense of it. You just need to be and allow yourself to be present in those energies and just be present with them. Okay. Absolutely. Give yourself a time now of just allowing that to happen. So anybody who needs help just shutting down the mind that wants to process all of it and giving yourself that permission to just be, just going to send through that support and that strength right now, because a lot of times it can be difficult to shut down the mind until we give ourselves permission to, and then it's not difficult anymore. It's hard until it's not hard anymore. But because that is the way our mind is so used to working, it can be difficult to shut it down until we learn how to like unattach that part of how the mind works. So just sending that energy through for anybody who wants help and just allowing themselves to stay present, giving yourself permission to release any stress that you're hanging on to release the need to put it all together and to know what it all means. Just be. Beautiful. Good job.
Definitely.
Okay, I got the next number 1 through 10. The first number that I see that pops up correctly, you will be the next person to receive the reading. Jim says it's okay to be. I love that. Thank you, Jim. Dita says, yes, please. Dita, we're taking numbers right now. So a number 1 through 10. Oh my gosh. Okay, so honestly, we got, the number is 4. We have 3 4s that came up here. So this message is for, Spirit is telling me this is for all 3 of you guys. Oh, I see Ashley Branstetter there. That's one of my small town friends from back home. Mwah. Love to you and your family there.
Can you give me the name? Is one of them Yvette? I got Yvette had a 4.
Yes, there's Yvette, there's Christy, and Laura. Laura, oh, Isabel's number 3 is up there. Forgive me, guys, here. So it's Laura, Yvette, and Christy all said the number 4.
And you know what's really crazy about that is I know Yvette personally. She's a partner, my business partner of mine. We actually have the guild together. The guild, which is helps people get their greatest work out into the world. But it was funny, before I actually picked the deck up and I put it to my throat chakra, I saw Yvette. I'm like, okay, this message is going to be for Yvette. Crazy, right? And then, and just like how Mother would do it, like 3 people get like the same message. Like, what? This is like so awesome. In 3s like that. So this is for Yvette, Christy, and Laura. Boy, isn't that?
There's a ton of 4s on here. So everybody who said 4 tuning into this energy right now.
Said 4.
Yeah, Jennifer said she got 4 also. We got lots of 4s.
Okay.
So
that's good. And even when I get the names, it's awesome because it helps me to just connect energetically. But we're good. I'm already feeling where Mother's going with this one. So number 19. Guys can see that. And what does that, I'm like, that this card says it all. Like, looking at it, you can just sort of see the energy on it of confusion. Wow.
It looks like a big C.
Huh?
The energy's pulsing in the 3rd eye again for me too.
Right. And it's so funny because I felt it in my throat which, you know, we know that those chakras are so much connected, our ability to speak and share what's coming through, because the hardest place to share is from the heart, which is below the throat chakra, and the third eye, which is above. Because the heart is what we're feeling, and those energy patterns are hard to oftentimes bring through. And then what we're envisioning, what's coming through our third eye, sometimes it's very hard for us to bring that down too, because sometimes it seems like a little off compared to the rest of the world around us. So what is Mother saying about confusion? We've already learned now that it's never exactly what it sounds like. She's saying it's a time now to unite all parts of the past. So this is a lot to do with bringing through, yes, confusion is an understatement. Oh my God, third eye is so active, crazy, you say, Yvette. Yeah, I'm getting that. Like the mother is like right on with this one. So we have to unite our past. A lot of what's happening when we start activating that third eye and when confusion comes up, it's because we definitely are having to clear out the past, because what's coming through the future from, you know, and I say future just as a place to say some point in outside of this moment, is we need to have a lot of clearing. And as that pineal gland decalcifies and starts opening up from all the energy that's coming in, you know, we're seeing our lives in a completely new way. It's a new, and we're trying to make sense. And oftentimes what we try to do, and the mistake I know I made, is I tried to integrate what I was seeing for my future with what I was already dealing with in the present and the past. And sometimes we really have to let go. It's like when you're on that merry-go-round and you grab for the brass ring, you know, you almost have to let go of the pole that you're holding yourself with the horse to grab that brass ring and trust that when you grab it, you know, you're grabbing something solid. So I'm really getting from Mother that there's a sense of letting go, let go, let go, let go. And through letting go, clarity will come. She says to realize everything without judgment. Don't judge. That's the ego. The ego is good. I'm these kind of people. I believe in the ego. But what I also believe is the ego shouldn't control me. I should be controlling the ego. So I should help the ego understand how to keep me safe, not it telling me how to be safe and therefore limiting my movement and limiting my direction. So the ego is there. Like our heartbeat is there to keep our body systems moving. The ego is there to keep us protected when we're not conscious of everything that's going on around us. But the moment we become conscious, we then get the opportunity to overtake the ego. We can say, okay, you can sit down now. I got it, you know? And so it's like a warning post. That's how I look at the ego. And that's how I've taught it and how I use it with my clients. And, you know, I find that it's powerful and look at it like that. So it's no judgment, you know, it's moving out of judgment. That's what the number 4 is saying here. And it's also, you know, and it has a lot to do with judgment. I'm also hearing Mother say has a lot to do with where you're standing right now. So where you are right now, that you're seeing yourself moving away from, because the third eye is opening and you're seeing so much for yourself. You're seeing your future like so blasted wide open, but at the same time, you know, where you're standing, you don't feel like it's like your feet are stuck. Like I can't, like, you know, you're trying to move off center, but your feet are like stuck. And it's so like just going back and looking at where you're placing judgments. It's in your own life. It's not like you're judging other people out there. It's like you're making your personal judgments, and some of them are holding you kind of stuck firm. And the other thing that the Mother is saying is breathe deeply and stand like a mighty void. So just be a void. Be a powerful void. Don't be like a little wimpy void. Be a powerful void. You know, like own the voidness. You know what I mean? Like own the place that I'm in a void. And that's okay. You know, like that is an absolute place to be. Like, you know, the whole idea, you don't get a yes, you don't get a no, but we agree, we disagree. You know, that's like the void. We agree that we're not making a decision right now. And then what she also says is you can unite the halves of your divine being and go forward in love. So it's really uniting the divine feminine and the divine masculine, which is in all of us. And so many of us who are powerful women, we're a little bit lopsided with that divine masculine kind of ranging high. I know I am. Woo, woo, woo. Yeah, exactly. And I'm sensing that those of you who are talking right now, your divine masculine is a little high. And what you're trying to do is get that feminine knocked up some, and just to be able to be balanced and in partnership. And when that balances and partners out, you can just move forward in love confident, powerful. And what I've been getting here recently in my own life is that Cali love. You know, that love that some kind of looks like, sometimes seems like a destructive force. It seems like you're coming in, you're tearing the place up, but you're doing it with love because you understand what's going on and where you're going. And you have the ability within yourself to right some of the conditions that you find yourself coming upon. You know what I mean? So at any rate, you can feel the energy really just soared up in me. I'm like all over the place now. Like the mother is just running right now. She's so passionate about this message. And this is for everyone. She is so passionate about, we're in confusion, but it's good. Move out your judgment, look at yourself, be clear, and just move forward in love. So I got to bring myself down.
Beautiful. Okay, so here's what I'd like to add to that. I'm going to give us a breath pattern where we can really balance the divine masculine and the divine feminine. But what Spirit and the Akash would like everybody to understand about the divine feminine energy is that is the receiving energy. When you think about, sexually men and women coming together, or the womb energy, or the idea of the valley, right? The chalice, if you want to go back to the Holy Grail ideas, it's where the energy comes in and collects. It's the receiving energy. So if your divine feminine is out of balance and you're more in your masculine energy, which in order to make things happen, right, we get out in that personal power. Also, I want to bring your awareness to, since the time of ancient Egypt, when that society fell, collectively we have been in our divine masculine. Okay.
Yes. Absolutely.
And so it's characteristic of the planetary system right now. As a whole, we are rebalancing that divine feminine energy. So nothing to get down on yourself about. No. As you rebalance your own divine feminine, you are rebalancing it for the entire planetary system and the collective cosmos, for that matter. And the divine feminine energy is where we create, and it's where we receive.
Yes.
Okay, so it goes full circle. You create it in the divine feminine, and then the divine masculine helps you put it into action out into the physical realm. And then as it comes full circle and the universe shows up to create with you, to co-create, you've likely heard that term before, in order to receive it, we got to go back into that divine feminine energy and receive it.
Yes.
And so many times we'll get out of balance there.
Yes.
So it's important, just bring your awareness. I'm going to work on just opening up and receiving. Okay, that comes from the divine feminine energy. So anybody who wants to help put that back into balance today, we're going to use a breath pattern right now together. We're going to equalize the inhale and the exhale. Your breath is technology that you can use to shift a multitude of different things in your energy field. You can make the inhale longer. You can make the exhale longer. You can make them even, which is what we're going to do today. And we're setting the intention of doing this in this even way so that we can balance the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Okay? So everybody, nice deep breath in. Count to 4. I want you to hold it for 4, since we're in that 4 energy, and release for 4. Now hold for 4. Inhale for 4. Holding for 4. Exhaling for 4. Holding for 4. Inhaling for 4. Holding for 4. And exhaling for 4. Good job. All right, here we go. We got 2 more. 2 more coming in. Let me write my number down. I haven't written my number down yet. Okay. My number is down. The first number that I see that comes up that is this number, you're the next person to have a card drawn.
Really strong right now. Aren't you feeling it, Emily?
Yeah, I'm feeling it.
Very
definitely
strong. I'm sure you guys are feeling it too. It's just pervasive.
Let's see. There it is, Amy. Number 7. All right. There it is, number 7.
And here's our card.
Okay.
Number 24. We got Blender again. Mother wants us to stay in that space of really just thinking about a firm footing here right now. What I'm sensing, Amy, is, and we're all at the same, we're all, it's funny, I think as the messages are going on, I'm seeing that it's a space that many of us are in right now. Okay, D, also 7 for sure. Thank you for, because I can connect with names. I can really sense your energy pattern. And so what's happening is that what I'm sensing that specifically Mother is saying right now with this one too is gratitude. It's just definitely gratitude for all that we're receiving right now. And sometimes we're receiving things that we don't quite understand. And it's sort of being in the space of sort of not understanding, being grateful for not understanding. And that's what I'm hearing the Mother say. It's like, it's this place of, I don't know everything. I don't know it all. I just, and I can't be paralyzed either. I cannot not do it because I don't know, you know? And sometimes that's very uncomfortable for us. That's come up before in a couple of the other readings. The idea it's sort of uncomfortable sometimes to move forward. So it's like being grateful for not knowing. It's like she's saying, okay, just stand in the space of not understanding, not knowing, but be grateful for the fact, you know what? I don't know, but I'm thankful. I'm thankful for the fact that I don't know, you know, because that's a pregnant moment. That's a place, that's a void. And that's the place of the cosmic womb, which is the source of all creation. And so you're in this place, you're in a void and you don't know, but it's being grateful for actually being in that place. And the gratitude also comes in knowing that you don't know. You know what I mean? It's that special place that sometimes we don't know what we don't know. But when you do find out and you discover it, wow, you know, I'm not clear on a few things, but the gratitude is that you've been able to associate what you're not clear on now. And so now you can stand in that space of just receiving and gratitude, that not knowing. And it was one other thing that just came through. Oh, I was talking. I'm so sorry. It's like, it's just like right now, it's like the Mother is like having so much to say. But go ahead, Emily. It'll come back to me.
Yeah, it'll pop back into your head. That's what I call short circuiting. And it used to happen to me. Like I'd be in the middle of a reading and then all of a sudden I'd be like, I have no idea what I was saying. Like it was just gone. What's coming up from the Akashic Records is the need for forgiveness. There's a need for forgiveness somewhere in your life. It feels like it's with a person who is representative in your physical world. But of course, we know when we dive deeper into this understanding that every person in our physical world is representative of somehow how we feel about ourselves. So there's an area where you need to pay attention to what this is and get that forgiveness energy flowing, whether it is for somebody who you felt has wronged you in your life, or whether you can already put the pieces together and identify where you need to forgive yourself. But really, we can't move forward into these higher dimensions and these higher realms of consciousness without forgiving ourselves. And the nature of our experience here on the planet is to sometimes be in that void. The void is very powerful. It can be creation. It can be time for a reflection. We tend to want to get out of the void as soon as possible and get more back into what we feel like is the flow of energy. But the void is really important because it allows us to take a step back and to either consciously create what we want. Because guys, thoughts become things. If you're holding unforgiveness, that is a paradigm, a belief, thought process that's running subconsciously under the layers of what you're thinking, and it will manifest into your life. So be glad that you're in the void right now, because it's giving you a time to take this step back and say, okay, where can I forgive? Where can I truly get neutral? Because if you're holding unforgiveness for yourself or somebody else, you ain't neutral. You got some upset energy going on in there that you're just trying to ignore. And so many times you'll find yourself in this void so that you can actually address those things before you continue to create more chaos out of that unforgiveness energy that's coming up. So take a look and figure out where you want to, or where you need to forgive either somebody else or yourself. Lee Cara, who is one of our amazing hosts, she has a show, Unleashing Your Light, on Thursdays. Lee said she did a show on forgiving others and forgiving yourself on this page if you scroll down. So if you are in need of some assistance in figuring it out and forgiving yourself and moving forward, go back and find that show, because each one of these shows are programmed with really powerful energy. We're just the host showing up to share what's coming through for us, but Spirit has, and Mother and the Akash and all of whatever you want to call this amazing energy that is here to assist us, has programmed each and every single one of these broadcasts with energy coming through. So just know that if you need support, go back and find Lee's show, and the energy, that frequency that you need, you will receive from being in that space. Emily says tears. Thank you. Yes, go ahead.
So absolutely, and when I hear the mother saying in line with all of that, so powerful, Emily, is that we were talking about the cosmic womb when I kind of like short circuited, because it's a very powerful place that has come into my awareness. It's actually I've been dealing with it for like a number of years, like 30 years, if I could be honest, but I never knew where that cosmic womb was. And what I've learned here recently now is that it is in the etheric body. It's separate from our other chakras, but we're all, men and women, are connected to this cosmic gateway. It is a portal, and it is a place where we all come through. It is the birthing process. It's the point that our spirit comes in to this manifestation, and it's a literal portal that is outside our etheric body, our etheric field, but right connected to us. And that's where you get the idea of the silver cord. We hear a lot about the cord. That's sort of the connectivity. And it's from that cosmic womb that we then come and we drop into the physical place of our mother, into the physical womb of the female. And that's why men and women have the cosmic womb, because we all come through it to drop down into the physical female womb to be birthed. And so what I'm hearing Mother say, that a part of what the Amy, and I think it was Jill also, is that a part of this holding on, a good place to do is to go back and connect with that cosmic womb, that some of what's happening that you're still bringing forth, because I'm getting that you guys are doing a lot of work, and that's maybe where some of the confusion comes in, like, okay, I'm doing all of this, but why? And something is, I'm hearing the mother say, go back into that cosmic womb, just even in meditation, close your eyes, and just, you'll see the darkness, and you'll just continue going through a place of darkness. And you'll just keep journeying. And when you come through, you're going to come to a point where you're going to meet the female, the mother energy. And sometimes it's ancestral. It could be your mother, your mother's mother, your great, 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 great grandmother, because it's the female energy. It's our DNA. It's the feminine DNA structure, the line that we came through. And what happens, and what the mother shared with me, is that when we birth through the womb, it's actually connected to all the wombs that were birthed through all the way back. And so what's happening is that DNA energy is coming through. And so sometimes what you're trying to shake, especially when you've been doing a lot of work, which I'm sensing you guys have been doing, what's happening is that what you're having a hard time releasing, which Emily is talking about, it's because it's something that you brought through in this DNA from previous ancestors. So it's going back into this place where you can connect with that ancestor. You'll see her face, and she'll share her story, and listen to that story. And then in either a space of thanks, gratitude, forgiveness, you will definitely release. I'm sensing, and right now the mother is sending you energy right now on that release. I'm feeling it right now. It's moving out through my palm right now. And it's there. And I'm sensing that all of us can actually go to that place. I know I've gone there a number of times for release, but just receive that energy right now and go to that place, the cosmic womb. Don't be afraid of the darkness at all, because you will find the mother in the darkness. That's the realm of the belly of the mother. All righty. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I received a lot of that energy coming in. Thank you a lot for that. Okay, so we have one more person who is going to receive a message today, and everybody. I should say one more round of healing, because we're really all receiving all of this. Yes. All right, so 1 through 10, the first number that I see pop up there will be the conduit for this last one. And I can feel my energy getting to the point where it's like, okay, about ready to take a little break. Like there, like you said, the energy gets going as we're moving it through. Yeah. So that's one thing that I definitely teach my students is you got to be responsible for your time in these higher realms of energy, because it's a lot to take in. Okay. And that's not only for, there it is right there, Ren. Number one, this is not only for the purpose of, Robyn and I being respectful and honoring our energy. It's for everybody as well, because we're receiving a lot of energy right now. This was like a monster session. So you might find a nap after this. You don't want to require your being to take on too many upgrades or too much energy at once, or you will find that you start to like short circuit, like you can't really keep your mood stable. Like your body will tell you, hey, you got to go rest and integrate all of this right now. So this is very much like working out for too long, right? You don't want to work out hardcore in the gym, lifting weights for 5 hours, because you won't be able to walk the next day. Your body will take that time to have to rebuild itself. So it is really important to be respectful of all of our energies. And so this will be the last one, and then we will make sure. I want to give everybody a time as well to know anything that you need specific healing for. Type it in the comments. We're not going to go back in and acknowledge all of them on the air, but we were going to go back and read them. And we have set into motion before this even began that everybody who's willing to type that in and share it is going to receive healing. So this is a chance to make sure that you do that. If there's a specific area that you need, we will be holding space not only during this broadcast, but afterwards too. We're going to keep those in our thoughts and prayers for each and every single one of you guys. Okay.
Absolutely. Here we go. And while the energy is high for sure, and it's interesting too, just a side note to what you were saying, or to add to it, is that I knew that this was going to be a monster session, because yesterday I came in and around 4 o'clock, I fell asleep and I slept for several hours, like gone. Then I wake up and I sleep again, and I wake up all night long. Every time I woke up like 9 o'clock, okay, nope, back down. And it went all the way through the morning with such peaceful, deep sleep. And oftentimes when that happens, I know that the mother is going to just do a lot of energy work through me. And so she's getting me ready for that. So I knew this was going to be a power session. So to end, what's interesting, the mother wants to do 2 cards. The first card she pulled was the Flower of Life again. So I know this is for Ren specifically, but this is for the group also. So as we talked about, the Flower of Life is the magic of creation. It's the dynamic movement that is beyond understanding, a force so strong in truth that it captures all of everything in its movement. So we're going to sit with that one. And oftentimes when the mother really wants to get across something, you can pull multiple cards, of course. But in this case, we also pulled a 10, which is deliberate action. So we want to think about reading these together. We're talking about the Flower of Life. In this case, I really sense, Ren, that your mother is talking about you have a really strong creative energy, a creative force inside of you. It's really, really strong right now. And what's happening is you're butting up against not taking action. Like, it's so strong that she wanted this card pulled. She really wanted you to get that you definitely are action. You're action in motion. You're creation in motion. You're just in this huge toroidal field of the Flower of Life. And then, so she's really stressing, take deliberate action, expansion of time and space by using creative force focus. So what I'm essentially saying there, the reason why you're not taking action is because you're sort of like saying or feeling like you don't have enough time. Like, I don't have enough time. I really want to do this, but I don't have the time. I really want to try that, but I don't have the time. I'm getting this time sort of objection to why you're not just exploding and everything that's already there, ready to go. Like you have manifested, my friend. You just have to step into action, she's saying. So you can do this through the root chakra. You can ground through the root chakra, she's saying, using the infinity loop. And I use that a lot. She showed me this a few years back, but the infinity loop is taking and just going from side to side. So you go over that root chakra and you just see the energy. And this is one that we all should use over whatever chakra you're working on. And you just see that infinity moving back and forth over that chakra. And what it also does, it will then connect with the pineal gland. So that infinity loop, you can then bring that energy up into the pineal gland, into your third eye area, and keep a continuous motion. And this is the manifester of all things. She shared with me during a channeling that this is how we can just really super go into manifesting. And that's why this final message not only is for Ren, I sense strongly that you have some stuff that you really just need to step into, my friend, and just go into action. If you've got to do this sort of meditation every day, do that. Just see your root chakra, see an infinity symbol moving, and then bring it all the way through all your chakras up into the pineal gland. But certainly the mother wanted to share that manifesting tool with all of us, that any chakra, be it your heart, your sacral, even your pineal gland, if you're working on that third eye, sit there and just run that infinity loop and bring it through your whole entire chakra pillar and bring it down through the root, back up through the top, and keep it. What are these headaches and pent up energy? So I think, Emily, I'll let you address that because I know you're sensing what's going on too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an essential symptom. They're inviting you, Ren, to look. Hang on. They're inviting you to clear your throat chakra. Hang on. I'm going to clear mine through with you. Really speaking that truth that you know is yours and really harnessing that energy. In terms of pent up, so what I'm sensing with my own body is that it's getting stuck in the throat chakra a bit in terms of speaking your truth. They do want to invite you to shift the perspective, though, because as soon as you shift your perspective, so you get the lesson about the pent up energy. Now let's stop looking at it as pent up energy. And they're saying shift the perspective and look at it as an ascension symptom. So this is evidence of the energy, more energy moving through that area. Okay, so it's both of those things at the same time. All right, it's showing you where you might have a little blockage. We just busted through that, and now it's showing you where there's more energy moving, and it's like your bandwidth is learning to hold these higher frequencies of energy. And ascension symptoms can range anything from headaches to dizziness to needing more sleep to excitability. It's like if you read the side effects after you take Sudafed, all of those different things can happen when our body's learning to adjust to higher frequencies of energy. Okay, and sometimes it can mean more than one thing at the same time, which is what you're experiencing right here. Okay,
right.
And I saw a question of yours that you didn't pop up, that I didn't pop up earlier, Ren, which said, how do you know when you're experiencing two different timelines? Here's an example. When something can mean two different things at the same time, you're kind of on, okay, it means this in this timeline, and then where you're blocked, right? When you look at it as a blockage, it's probably this lower timeline. And then you hop up into this higher timeline aspect of yourself where you're growing and expanding, and all of a sudden up here, it's an ascension symptom. It's a sign that you're learning to hold higher frequency energy. Does that make sense? I know it's when we can start to wrap our head around these things, it can be a little like, what? But that's what's coming through. Did you want to add something, Robyn?
Right, because and to what you're saying, the idea of pent up energy, and that's what the mother is saying, deliberate action, take steps. You know, like how if you have a car and it's just sitting there running and you let it just run, the engine is just starting to power up, and it's before it'll just smoke out until you engage that car and get it driving. Now the system of the car can start flowing, and the energy that's built up in the engine can now go through the rest of the car, and da-da-da-da. So that's what happens too when we are experiencing these ascension symptoms, and we are powerful healers. We have something, you have a lot to share, but you're not moving in it. And so one of the things that go back to an earlier suggestion we made is just to get out and walk. Go out and walk in the earth. Just that type of action will also help to relieve a lot of the headaches and stuff, because the negative ions that come up through your body will actually absorb a lot of the energy that's creating that headache and that's creating the energy block in the body. So that's another example of deliberate action. And also what you have to look at is the idea that, here I go again, because I was going back to her earlier question. She just said about timelines, is that the other way that I can sense that I'm on a different timeline is that the people that are closest to me and my family act a little different. You know, like how you could be sitting down having a conversation and that person will say something that you just, well, as soon as they say it, you look at them and think, well, that's sort of uncharacteristic. Like, why did they say it like that? They don't normally say that. That's another way, because what it's showing you is that you are starting to integrate the awakening that's happening on a different timeline, but you're still also in the third dimension kind of thing. And so you're starting to see that person in that timeline, but then that same person you can integrate on and be back on another timeline, and they're saying and acting the way you would expect them to be. So because they're also ascending. So not only as we're ascending, the people in our lives are also ascending. And sometimes we're on that same timeline or that same dimension frequency the same. And then sometimes we're not, you know, our lower energy is on the same timeline with the higher energy. And then that's when we sort of see the rift. So that's another way I'm checking with the people around me too.
Awesome. One more little message coming in about the deliberate action that the Spirit is inviting me to share. And it's before I moved into this kind of work, you guys know that I was in Hollywood, I was an actress. I was also a writer, and I've written a couple of scripts, and I took some classes on teaching me how to do that. Because, you know, like, and I shared it like automatic writing. Sometimes I'll sit down and just start writing things. What I learned in script writing is every single thing that you write of a character, it has to mean something. You can't randomly say, oh, he walked by and saw a blue bird sitting there on the fence, unless that means something. So remember in your life as well, make the choices that mean something. If a choice doesn't necessarily have any meaning, or like, you got to bring that deliberate action to every single thing that you are writing, because you are the author of your own movie that you're starring in right now, right? That will help you start to understand, okay, what does it really mean to take deliberate action? If there's not a meaning behind something that you're doing, don't do it. Save your energy in that space. Learn to recognize, I'm going to only take steps that are of deliberate action. Don't randomly write. And at this point, you know, we're not randomly like throwing stuff against the wall and seeing what sticks. Our energy is valuable for that. We're taking deliberate action with every single thing that we construct for ourselves. I'm sorry, I said one more thing, but there's one more thing after that. So my partner at the Academy, Coach Nick, shared this with me recently. This is going, and I can't really see it. You can just see the Ganesh image right there. Yes. I will go back and post this for you guys. This is a mantra to remove all obstacles. And this is specifically connected to the root chakra, which what you were talking about, and you were talking about seeing that infinity loop in the root chakra. This particular mantra will help you wake up the root chakra, and the root chakra will pop into action for you, removing obstacles from your path, which will make it easier to figure out what the deliberate actions are to take, right? So that's something that I wanted to share with you guys as well. I'm going to go back and post that not in this thread. I'm going to give it its own separate post inside the Akashic Academy Facebook page. So anybody who is experiencing any obstacles coming up, and I love that Lee earlier mentioned that sometimes a theme, and not sometimes, all the time, a theme will start running through the different shows that you're seeing. And chanting is one of the themes that have come up this week. And so this is another way that you can use chanting to really activate that root chakra energy. Allow your chakras to do what they're supposed to. We're going to start removing obstacles from our path. So it will be my privilege to go back and post that for you guys and share that. This has been just an absolutely monster session. So very important. Here's some action steps for you to take after this. You've got to ground in your energy. Whether you do earthing, whether you do meditation, drink water. You got to drink a lot of water. Water conducts energy. It's going to help you integrate all of this energy that's coming in. Drink twice as much water as you even think you're supposed to drink today. Okay, I want you guys peeing about every 15 minutes because you're drinking so much water. That's coming from the mom in me, all right? I also want you to know that what you've seen happen here today, the messages that you've seen Robyn and I bring through for you, is possible for every single one of you guys to do. this, you know, we talked about going back to Haley's reading and her sweet little one coming in fully awake.
Yes.
This is something that if you did not come in the planet fully awake, which is most of us, you can wake up these abilities. This is inherent, divinely inherent in every single human being.
Yes.
So by being here today, you are already receiving a measure of that waking up energy, receiving a ton of different stuff.
Yes.
But if you choose to dive in and study and learn how to do this, you too can learn how to access your Akashic Records. You can learn how to communicate back and forth with Mother. You can learn a variety of these different interpretations that all of us have for it, but it is a learnable skill. And I invite you to reach out to me, reach out to Robyn if you want to know more about what that looks like. We're here to help and support you as you move through that process. That's all I have to say, Robyn. I'm going to turn it over to you and let you sign off.
All righty. Well, I was just going to say too that I agree with everything you said. Let's, you know, this has been an awesome opportunity. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to share this space with you this morning. I get a lot out of it as well. And also, if you relate at all to this deck, I have it on my website. It's a downloadable for just $7.99. I decided, you know, the mother wanted to keep it very easy for people to get. You can print it out on your home computer. I've even had people do creative things like just write all the numbers on index cards and just have it downloaded on their computer desktop and just read the messages based on what number they picked on an index card. So it's RobynMcClendon.com. You can go over there, download your deck today, and just start enjoying it. And so many messages will come through from the mother. And of course, you know, Conversations with Gaia on Wednesdays at 12:30 Pacific time. I continue to do readings over there weekly with you guys. A number of you guys already know you're over there with me. And, you know, hey, let's just keep on sharing the message and being a part of what's going on this planet. It's really powerful, the times that we're in right now.
Yep. Thank you guys so much. And after this, I'm going on vacation, by the way. My kids are on, and we're going on a big old road trip. We're heading back to see family in California, family and friends in California. So I am signing off until next Sunday, you guys. Unfortunately, fortunately and unfortunately, I'm going to miss you guys, but I'm not going to be showing up and doing the shows and the live feeds that I do normally. I have amazing people here to hold down the fort while I am gone. And thank you for really giving me that time and space to step away, to recharge, to really connect with my friends, my family, my kids. It's really important that we all give ourselves that time to do that, because in order to be strong and to continue to bring these messages through, we got to take care of ourselves, and we got to take a break from time to time. So, and many of you guys have messaged me saying, I see how hard you're working. I hope you're going to be taking a break soon. And yes, I am going to be taking a break. So thank you for allowing me to share this big boost of energy with Robyn and with all of you guys before I take off on vacation. And I will be seeing you back here next week. In the meantime, make sure you tune in to all of the amazing shows here at the Akashic Academy. People how to support your growth. Namaste. Namaste.
Yes, thank you guys.
And we'll see you again.